Hey guys, this is the Amazon FBA investor here, and in this video I'm going to go through the top 5 things that you're going to need to start your Amazon FBA business in 2022. Now, just a caveat before I do get into these topics, I will split this between what you need to do arbitrage, which is reselling of products, and what you need to do private label. Now, largely myself and Michael here at Amazon FBA University, we do private label. So the capital constraints and the techniques are slightly different. The software that you need, etc., are slightly different. But arguably, the name of the game is to make money on Amazon and sell through products. So I'll go through those. But essentially, what you need for both of them are arguably much the same. So the first thing that you're going to need is an Amazon Seller Central account. Now, this is super easy to set up. You've got to head over to Amazon. And what you want to do is you want to set up for the professional account from the off. Now, that enables you it's $39 a month, and that enables you to take part in the Amazon FBA fulfillment program, which is essentially where you send products in to Amazon and you have them pick, pack, store, and ship your products, and also deal with your customer returns. And what that does is that also gets you the ability to use the Amazon Prime badge against your products. So you have your products will be Amazon Prime, so therefore customers are more likely to buy those Amazon Prime products because they come either same day or next day. And I think based on metrics that we've seen recently, around 80% of 80% of buyers on Amazon will shop for products which are Prime over products which aren't Prime. So, you want to get that market share. So first thing you want to do is set up your Seller Central account. Really easy to do. Sometimes you'll need to do a video verification where you need to show a piece of personal ID, such as your passport or your driver's license, to the Amazon associate on the other end. Really straightforward. It's like a 3-minute video, nothing to be scared about. Once you're set up, you're ready to go, and then you can start sending products in and start making money on Amazon. So that was the first one, Amazon Seller Central account. The second one is capital. And, this is where we're split between arbitrage, reselling, and private label. So if we're talking about purely arbitrage, you can typically start with around $1,000. Just because you're not starting your own brand, you're leveraging brands which already exist, you're leveraging products which already exist. You don't have to create your own brand, drive traffic, etc. So the barrier of entry is a little bit lower. So you can start arbitrage around $1,000. That should get you your first batch of products, either from online retailers, from retail stores, or if you wanted to go down the kind of light wholesale route. If you do want to do more wholesale, the capital constraints will go up. But $1,000 should get you in the game, get you started, and yeah, $1,000 you're in. Now, private label, a little bit different. So with private label, what we tend to see is that you need to start with a little bit more capital because you're actually buying the raw materials or the raw products from websites like Alibaba. You'll be branding it, which is an additional cost. You might need to create a mold for that product. And what you also need to do is factor in your shipping freight from China over through to the Amazon America fulfillment centers. So you've got to factor that in, right? That doesn't come cheap. So the threshold for private label is around $4,000 to $6,000. So that's what we see from a private label point of view. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking about whether to go down the arbitrage route or the private label route. I'd say arbitrage, you can start with around $1,000, and private label, you need around $5,000 to start. So 2 differences there in the capital. The third difference and the third point is on the software that you need. So to do arbitrage, what you need is software like things like BuyBot Pro. You can use things like Tactical Arbitrage, which sources deals for you and finds deals. So those are the kind of things you want to do because you want to be finding products that have a good enough margin and products that sell well throughout the year and every single month that you're going to want to sell through quickly so you can recoup your investment and go back again, keep reinvesting and build your capital. Whereas with private label, similar concept, but slightly different, where you're looking at products within your niche that already have that existing sales track history. And then now you're looking into further details with the metrics. So with arbitrage, you only want to know number of sales, etc. You're not concerned with the reviews. You're not really concerned with anything other than sort of IP infringement possibilities there. But with private label, on the other hand, you're one, looking for a product that's in high demand, but 2, you're looking for a product that has low competition, a ready-made niche that you can slide into and start making sales. So that's another consideration. So with private label, you're going to be wanting to use softwares like Jungle Scout or Helium 10. My preference is for Helium 10 because I find it a lot more accurate than Jungle Scout, but some people like Jungle Scout. You can use other tools as well, but Helium 10 is the one I recommend. So it really lets you dive into the private label business and really conduct that research that you need, so that when you are stepping into a product niche, you're a little bit more aware of what's going on, what it entails, and whether or not, that's a good or bad opportunity. Now, the fourth thing you need to start an Amazon FBA business in 2022 is, it's non-tangible. So that's ambition. I see a lot of guys coming into this game. They get faced with either competitors or, IP claims, customer cases, etc. And, they lose their mojo, especially when you're going down the private label route, when you're doing your product research. Now, within our mentoring program that we cover, we spend around 6 weeks doing product research. So a lot of people think they can come into the product research game on the private label side and they'll find a product within 2-3 days. Now, unfortunately, some people do that. Don't get me wrong, there are outliers, but it's a long slog. There is methodology and a technique to it, but it does take a long time. So for me to find my first product, it took me a number of weeks, 8-10 weeks. So do spend enough time having the correct amount of product research to make sure that you're doing things properly. Don't be disheartened. A lot of people do get into it and they get disheartened. I haven't found a product. I feel like I'm falling behind. I haven't found a product. I'm never going to find a product. Everything's saturated. Amazon's saturated. But there'll always be a diamond in the rough. So keep at it and make sure that you have a methodology and a system that you can follow, so that you don't get disgruntled, that you don't get downtrodden when it comes to product research. Now, on the arbitrage side, similar thing where a lot of people are looking for products. What previously was a good deal might not turn into a good deal. So another key piece of software I forgot to mention actually is Keeper. So get to know Keeper, get to know how to pick a good product, what a good product looks like on the charts, and you will have no problem in succeeding in arbitrage. Now, the fifth and final thing that you're going to need to kickstart your Amazon business in 2022 is time. So a lot of people think this is a get rich quick scheme that they can jump into, spend 30 minutes every single day and they'll have $1 million business. That's not how it works. So typically when we start our Amazon business, whether we're doing arbitrage or private label, I always say to our students that, you need around 7 to 10 hours a week to conduct the correct research, to make sure that you're finding the right products and you're giving enough time to the process. Now, 7 to 10 hours is a conservative estimate. If you really want to go hard on it, I'd recommend around 15 to 20 hours a week researching products, finding good opportunities, good niches, etc. So make sure that you have enough time. If you're time strapped and you've got a family, you've got a demanding job, for example, you might need to spend your weekends doing this, but just make sure you give it enough time, because I've seen a lot of people stifle their Amazon businesses by not giving it enough time. The silver lining here is that once you do get established, you'll find that you're not spending as much time on private label. So me, typically, I spend between 3 to 5 hours a week on my Amazon business. Now, that's largely leveraged with using things like VAs, prep centers, and third-party fulfillment. So, it is a slog for a little bit of time, but it will get to a stage where you earn enough capital and you start making enough money where you can actually implement systems. So it's not the be-all and end-all, but in the beginning, I would recommend that sort of 7 to 10 hours, 15 to 20 if you can, but minimum 7 to 10. So those guys were my 5 tips for anyone wanting to start a Amazon FBA business in 2022. Hear a lot of people say Amazon's saturated, you can't find a product, you're just not working hard enough. There's still opportunities out there, and my students are finding products every single day. Take care, guys. See you on the next video.